Happy Pride, everyone! Pride Month is celebrated every June to honor the 1969 Stonewall Uprising in Manhattan. This was the turning point for the gay liberation movement in the U.S.
And here with us to celebrate Pride Month today is none other than Terry who plays the role of non-binary alien a-spen in the upcoming Disney Plus original movie, Zombies 3. Welcome to the show, Terry.
Thank you all so much for having me. Love the couch, the denim.
The denim. Love it. The Zombies franchise features themes of acceptance and celebrating our unique individual differences. So can you tell us about Zombies 3 and your character a-spen?
I'm really excited for this. Zombies 3 is the final installment of the Zombies franchise, and like Zombies 2, tells the story of what happens when a group of outsiders comes to Seabrook and kind of what happens. This time it's not werewolves, it's aliens this time. There's Alan, a-spen, and Allie. We all have like very distinct personalities. a-spen is non-binary, I am non-binary as well, so we love that. And to describe a-spen, they are super excitable, super like curious, very childlike, I would say. Allie and Alan have like their very own specific quirks and personalities, and I think a-spen helps kind of ground them and stay focused on the mission.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is what we're in Seabrook for.
Yeah.
Ooh, got a little tidbit of plot there.
We're here for something. That's all I can say.
I can't wait. Oh my gosh.
What was your experience like on the set of Zombies 3?
But yeah, we just like bonded, and I think the cast really just like loves each other, you know, and that was something that really stood out.
Important and nice.
Yeah. Okay. So Mothership, who by the way is voiced by RuPaul.
Right?
Okay, yeah, we were wanting to get to that. I was like, we're like RuPaul.
Yeah. I was like, say it with me. RuPaul. And I found that out like recently, but I was like, so super excited. But yeah, so Mothership, like seeing it on set and the lights, I think it was just like, oh, this is big.
Yeah.
Like I think just like, you know, because I worked on like a number of short films and stuff like that before that, but then this was like my first feature. So I was like, oh, this is like a big thing.
Obviously, you're probably aware that Zombies has a pretty passionate fan base.
I now am aware.
Yeah, so I was curious what your feelings were when you found out you were going to be joining this franchise that has such a strong fan base, but also a franchise that encourages things like diversity and inclusion.
Firstly, to be a part of any project that like values and encourages diversity and inclusion is extremely important, and I think meaningful to me, being Asian, you know, being non-binary and queer. It's like an intersection of a lot, and so for me, I just really value that. I think it's very fulfilling for me. But over time and just hearing feedback from the fans who are so wonderful and so expansive, just realizing how meaningful it is and realizing like the responsibility I have, or like the privilege I have to have that responsibility, if that makes sense. You know, growing up, I was watching Disney a lot, you know, and truthfully, I couldn't have imagined on really any channel like a non-binary lead character, let alone played by a queer, non-binary Asian lead. Like there's authentic casting there. There's, you know, a lot of uplifting, I think, of different intersections there. And I keep saying this, it's unreal, but it is real, and that's the best type. And I just have to kind of keep like.
It's very pinch me and.
Yeah, and like it comes and goes.
And it's gonna keep hitting you though, because then you're gonna start seeing the reactions and like people who look up to you writing you.
Exactly. I think that was the biggest thing, is like getting these messages from people. Because when I was growing up also, truthfully, I wasn't super educated on like non-binary either, and myself, and sometimes you don't even realize like what you can resonate with until you see it yourself. To be a part of anyone's journey towards, I think, finding themselves, like I really am like, that's really cool.
So this is great timing because it's Pride Month. So we want to know what Pride Month means to you, and what was it like celebrating your very first Pride?
My very first Pride. It's Los Angeles, West Hollywood, 2016.
Picture it.
Picture it. Are you there? It's like kind of chilly, but it's still nice. Honestly, it was such a blissful, it was one of those like just a blissful night. I honestly remember that really well, and that was the first time I think I really like celebrated a Pride parade type, you know. I mean, I think something that's really important to say right off the bat that I feel very strongly about is like, yeah, I think it should never, just like, you know, AAPI Heritage Month, like nothing should just be limited to just one month, and it isn't, but like obviously I really value Pride Month, and it's meaningful because it is such a dedicated time for visibility and a dedicated time to like honor those who paved the way for us. And yeah, that's what Pride means to me.
So why do you think, like for you, why is Pride Month super important now more than ever?
There's been literal hundreds of like anti-LGBT plus legislation, you know, bills circulating, and it's been super demoralizing, I think, in that way. These bills are so horrible, and we're angry about it, we're hurt, but like we're not going anywhere.
Yeah,
like it just simply
phrase.
is like, you're not going to erase us. Like you can try, and showing visibility, like showing the humanness of it, and showing, like I said, joy also, because I think joy is also just to show like we are defying this, and then also to just show up for our community and like let them know we're not letting this go. Like no matter how hard it is, we're still going to be here.
Speaking of community, how has the LGBTQIA plus community helped you with your identity or with your journey?
I pretty much knew I was queer from the womb. I pretty much like from a like very early age, I was like, okay, yeah. And then I didn't really like start exploring or accept, I think, my non-binary identity until like a couple years ago. And a lot of that was because I met and got to connect with a lot of like a bigger LGBT plus community, like my queer community, and within that community I met a lot of non-binary or NB people and like became friends. And it's what I was saying earlier, sometimes you just don't really even know what you could be or could resonate with until you see it. And not that there's any right or correct way to be non-binary or look non-binary, but seeing how there isn't one right way, but then everyone kind of has a through line of feeling, I was like, oh, I do resonate with that. And I feel like I have for a really long time actually, because I knew what non-binary was. I was honestly just too scared to explore it. And then I think because of my queer community, like the past couple of years, felt comfortable enough to be like, hey, I'm just trying this. And that's what I said. I was just like, this just feels more right. I'm really thankful to them because it was actually very much because of them that I felt, I think, like comfortable enough,
I love your transparency because I think some people might be too afraid because they have to know everything and know exactly who they are and it can never change. And I relate to you a lot because I was in that same boat.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm bisexual, I identify as bisexual, but I didn't see that on TV. And then it wasn't until I found my community and people that were like me, and I was like, oh.
Exactly.
Community is extremely important.
Exactly. For support, but also just to see the possibility.
And learn from others. And like, just having these conversations.
Yes, it is scary because I get people's fear of, what if it's wrong? Like, I have to be this and I have to, and I think just like the best thing we can do is very like, just know your intention is like trying to become the better you, and that's fine.
Yes, I love that. Become the better you, the ultimate you.
And if it changes or whatever that looks like we can talk about it. You know what I mean?
So, speaking of representation and everything in media, as a non-binary actor, do you currently feel represented more?
Obviously, growing up, could not have even thought of it, genuinely. Now I think, in the past few years, like I know of like a handful of non-binary actors that are coming up and it's really cool to see. And I think probably fewer non-binary characters that like are in lead roles, truthfully. I'm hopeful. I genuinely am hopeful and optimistic. I think we are like moving in the right direction. But to kind of answer that question, as of right now, I think there's still a long way to go, but it is exciting, like to know that is stuff coming. Zombies 3. Zombies 3. Zombies 3. Disney Plus. 15.
What does a non-binary representation look like to you in terms of storylines or characters? Like, what would you like to see?
Holistic representation or like true representation of a group or community requires, in my opinion, two types of stories. The one type is, stories that kind of revolve more heavily around the specific struggle that comes with being that minority, but then it's like just as important to have stories that just include characters that happen to be XYZ, but don't revolve around that, right?
Yes.
And I think Zombies 3 is does a really good job with that second type of story. I mean, it's really those two types of stories. Like, let's just keep going. Like, it's not a phase. It's not just like a trend or anything or a fad either. Nope. It's like we're here. Let's just integrate, and like Disney has been working on like a ton of projects in the past few years that like include more significant LGBT plus representation, and it takes a while to make a movie. I did not realize it's been a whole year since we filmed Zombies, but like I'm excited for those projects to get the like chance to shine and to be loved, and to also give love to whoever needs it right now. And let's make sure that we like diversify and actually like keep creating these characters that are just actual characters,
I cannot thank you enough for joining us today.
Thank you all for having me.
We're so excited for you, and thank you for sharing with us because everything you said was just gold.
Thank you. Thank you for the denim.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when is it streaming again?
I think it might be like halfway July 15th on Disney Plus. I don't know.
Zombies 3 is streaming July 15th on Disney Plus.